Good morning, everybody. This is Lauren and Des, and we're presenting
Hi.
to you another interesting story that I think impacts everyone in South Africa.
Certainly impacts every single person, and this is to do with crime in South Africa. And we're going to bring you a different thought process around that. And you can tell us in the comments how you think about the way we think, the way we process information. And yes, let's lead in with the headline.
The headline is A Nation Under Stress. Experts unpack crime stats to understand why SA is plagued by violence.
So this is understanding why we do the things we do. And in this article that's in News 24, and you'll find the link in the description below this video, it is a subscribers article. We will also provide a link in our Telegram channel where you'll be able to find the article. Okay.
The quarterly crime stats reveal South Africa is still a violent nation. I'm sure that's no surprise. Coordination among role players, community partnerships, and increased trust in police are needed. Causative factors need to be understood and analyzed better.
And I actually like the fact that people are trying to look at the reason for the crimes instead of just dealing with the crimes. And as we were discussing this, we actually had to think of why do people need to know about this? Why is this important? And there's a few factors that came out, and as we work through this article, we'll bring them to the fore.
The quarterly crime stats released on Tuesday is another reminder that South Africa is still a violent nation as the murder rate continues its upward trajectory. Analysts who spoke to News 24 all agreed that the breakdown in trust between citizens, the police, and justice structures needs to be rebuilt if we are to see a decline in the crime stats. Well, what they're saying there is a complete system change, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Because it has not been working for all these years. In the first 3 months of the year, 6,289 people were murdered, a 3.4 increase compared to the same period in 2022. From October to December, 7,555 people were murdered. Between July and September, 7,004 people were murdered. And from April to June last year, 6,424 people were killed.
That's way over 2,000 people
per month in the country.
In that quarter.
Just once too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think we've become very numb to this, but let's continue on through this article.
Yeah, because that's murder. That's not death.
Yeah, this is murder.
It's a whole new thing.
Yeah, this is where someone kills someone else.
Dr. Jean Redpath, a senior researcher at the Africa Criminal Justice Reform Program at the University of the Western Cape, notes that pre-lockdown crime stats were indicative of aspiration, more about not being able to have nice things, while the latest crime stats seem to be more about desperation, to resort to whatever is possible to get through.
So that is a change in people's mentality. The lockdown has obviously had an effect on people, and the headline saying a nation under stress. Once we come to the amount of murders for various reasons, and there's a very nice table in this article, you will start to understand that many of the things in the mainstream media is not the main reason. Mm-hmm. These are people cracking and actually doing things. Okay, let's continue.
Lizette Lancaster, Crime Hub Manager at the Institute for Security Studies, adds that a strong coordination approach is necessary among all role players. Sounds like beautiful political speak to me.
Yes.
This can only be done by strengthening police and community partnerships, by building trust. Trust in the police is very low. Wonder why? As information is not forthcoming, cooperation is not forthcoming, and boots on the ground, if the training is not correct, will not assist. So for me, I've always thought that we need much stricter entry requirements for police, and then they have to have much better training as well.
Yeah, but besides that, they should be well paid for their skills that they bring to the fore.
Police are just document stampers.
Yeah, at the moment, many places, that is all they will actually allow to do. Some police stations won't even allow you to report a crime. They'll say, no, we're only interested in doing documents.
100%. And
certifying documents.
They'll send like a victim to a far police station that they have to find their own transport to get to.
Correct.
So it's just completely disintegrating before our eyes. Professor Jacob Mofokeng of the Safety and Security Department at the Tshwane University of Technology agrees that people do not trust the capability of the police to protect them. He says even potential perpetrators weigh up the possibilities of whether they will be caught, and if they are caught, will they go to prison?
Well, so they consider all of these things, and we're going to get to this table just now, and this table is extremely
Yes.
telling. And the next section we are looking at is the causative factors.
But just to end off on this one, I think criminals probably do keep in mind that the police are useless, so they have a little bit more free reign, and I suppose they can ascertain in certain areas where police are particularly poor, they can take more advantage.
So even in the best places with the best policemen, if they don't have the support they need, overall it becomes a useless situation, which is quite sad. And they must be quite frustrated being in the police service at this stage.
Causative factors. So this is the reasons why people murder specifically, as the table shows. South Africa is increasingly becoming a nation under stress, with frustration levels continuing to rise due to daily factors of load shedding, rise in the interest rates, persistent unemployment levels, and increased cost of living expenses. Arguments, misunderstanding, road rage, and provocation have been the leading causes of murders in South Africa for the last 4 quarters. It is also the leading cause of attempted murders and assaults. Worryingly, mob justice and vigilantism has seen a persistent increase in the last 4 quarterly reports and now sits second among the police's causative reasons for murder.
This is quite a serious thing in my mind, where what a lot of people call common law starts to take place, where people just do their own thing, and the government, the police, the military can't do anything about it because it's just too many people affecting this mob justice. And when an entire community becomes involved, it's actually quite sad to see, because most of those people weren't part of the initial understanding of why they are busy killing someone, which is really sad.
Okay, so this is a sample taken out of the first quarter's results.
Of this year, yes.
6,068 counts of murder and the reasons for those murders. So arguments, misunderstanding, road rage, and provocation is whole one section, and that accounts for 872
So
murders.
this is by far the most. If you look at the table, is arguments, misunderstandings, road rage, provocation. That speaks to the core of a nation and where they're at. Literally, adults or humans not being humane, not being seeing humanity anymore. It's all of those good values that humanity can espouse broken down, and those are important things to understand. And because of that frustration, the next one,
vigilantism and mob justice 588 murders
is the second highest reason.
I remember when that Uber driver was murdered, when the
totally
community,
innocent.
they mistook him for a child abuse or something.
Or someone that was going to kidnap somebody. And this poor Uber driver was just innocently called out to an area, and the community just stepped in, and it was a vicious
tortured him
killing.
to death, basically.
But besides that, he was burnt alive. But besides that, none of those people were arrested. There was no justice served because an entire community was involved. And this is where people should be careful of this whole greater good idea of common law.
It's actually very dangerous. You need common sense, not common law.
Yes.
And under common law situation, I think mob justice will increase dramatically.
Yeah, it will. Absolutely. Next is robbery, which is obviously a lot of people understand what robbery is.
345
345. But if you look at the others combined, it's way below that. I mean, when I was a child, robbery was one of the main causes. You would certainly not have arguments, misunderstandings, road rage, and provocation as a reason for murder, or the main reason for murder. And then next is retaliation, revenge, punishment. Also points to frustration, the state of a nation.
No, to me it points to mental instability, and I suppose people who had the tendency to become psychopathic have the triggers that just
get them there,
yeah.
And now we're only getting to gangs. And next, taxis. So gang related 152, taxi related 76. But you see this
taxi related, not tax
related. But you will see this all over the news. This is
all
what's being shown as the main reason. When actually, when push comes to shove, it's not the main reason for murder. It's actually way down below. And then we have during commissioning of other crimes, not robbery or rape, 52, hijacking attempts only 41, rape related 24, law enforcement security guards in the line of duty, so police murder 22, intervention in an argument 19, and illicit mining 11. So, your thoughts on this table and the main reasons people becoming psychotic? In that moment, you must, because these aren't people that would normally run around committing murder. I think that is, to me, the main thing. Road rage, you don't run around killing people on the road because you're frustrated with how the person drove.
No.
This is people snapping.
People are snapping. It's still, I suppose, it's a result of the country collapsing. So as the person said earlier on here, the more desperate people get, the more willing they are to commit crime. But at the same time, it's never a justification. How many people argue and it never results in murder? How many people get frustrated on the road and they never murder someone? More. So I think we're just a mentally ill and traumatized country that perpetuates violence. So until we actually target the fact that we as a nation needs to heal, this is never going to improve ever.
Yeah.
We have traumatized people running around making terrible decisions, not knowing how to handle their emotions, not knowing how to handle difficulty that comes their way, and it all results in this.
So we're not going to go through the rest of this article. We would like you to tell us in the comments how you feel about these statistics. Is it what you expected? And maybe we can just cover the not all doom and gloom by these experts.
An important consideration must be for a whole society approach, which can create resilient factors in our communities, Lancaster says. This can be done by strengthening institutions, and that should come with a warning.
Yes,
and
we'll deal with that just now.
Fostering partnerships within communities, capacitating feeding and homeless shelter schemes, and providing assistance for those who need psychosocial support.
So there's the psychology part comes into it.
Right at the end, I think it's probably the most important part.
Yes, but to me, you said something earlier about government just dealing with the conditions that they're facing.
What we did before this article, we went to Crime Stats SA and we looked at the amount of crimes in each area throughout the country. And you can see a lot of areas where things increased, crime increased or crime decreased. So I thought of the government, because I've worked in government before at a local level, not national, a local level, but still it's the same. You get fed these statistics. And now as someone sitting in government, in administration, not even as a politician, you just want to fix that. You want to take that 10% increase to a 5% increase to a 2% increase to a 1% increase to where there's no increase at all. And then when you fix it completely. So you're looking at numbers, you're not looking at people. So one thing I realize is that it's not necessarily that government wants to take our freedom away. They're not sitting at these big offices, somewhere secret, rubbing their hands together saying, how are we going to take away these citizens' freedom? No, they're looking at the problems often caused by bad governance. They're looking at the stats and then they're trying to put things into place to make sure they lower those stats without any concern for the principles that make up an advanced civilization or a decent community.
And at the end of the day, what does that bring us?
Well, I think this is the problem. It's not the government that takes away our freedom. It's our mentality that the government must save us that takes away our freedom. It's the mentality that got us to where we are right now. And I think one of the biggest things is you're going to look at your area where you live, you're going to see the crime stats, and you're going to welcome smart city development where everyone's tracked and traced. Where
cameras put up everywhere.
It'll be impossible to commit a crime. Almost impossible.
And people will actually beg for this. And this is the important part. As long as crime, and it's communities that commit crime, is sky high, people will welcome many things that take their freedom away. So we will take away our own freedom. That's literally what will happen. And you might say in the comments, not me, never me, but where do you live? Look at the areas where you live. If you look at Crime Stats SA, you can see what the crime is like there. Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? And make decisions about your life. Lauren, any last thoughts?
I would just like to hear in the comments if anyone has been a victim of violent crime or knows anyone that has died as a result of violent crime. And how willing are you to hang on to individual liberty? Because the government will come with lots of solutions, even institutions. Even these
Absolutely.
cooperative partnerships with the community will come up with solutions. Those solutions will 100% take your freedom away. So society needs to change at a completely different level, instead of just fixing a symptom of a far greater issue.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, you can join this channel to become a member. Watch our Thursday evening Zoom sessions where we have live Zoom sessions, and we upload those for everyone to watch afterwards. You can also become a subscriber by clicking subscribe. You can click the bell icon to get notifications for future videos, and on this channel we will always cover content that influence you, your life, and we will provide many solutions for these issues. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.